For regular videos on ancient cultures and forgotten civilizations, please subscribe. So, the other night, an episode of The Unexplained with William Shatner appeared on the History Channel, called Wonders of the Ancient World. And one of the talking heads on there was me. Yeah, I thought you might like to hear about my experience on the show so that you can get an inside look into documentary-style TV making. What is it like to do a show like that? I had some ideas beforehand, but I really didn't know. There is a difference, between doing YouTube videos and doing a bona fide national TV show. This was new to me. The first question I should probably answer is, did I get to meet William Shatner? Alas, no. The way these things work is that after the script is written, Mr. Shatner goes into a studio and he records all his narratives. He doesn't actually interact with the scholars and authors who appear on the show. And they don't interact with each other either. I didn't meet any of the other people. It was just me and the crew. Now, I recorded some personal video when I went to LA to do the part. Let me play some of that for you right now. I'm here at the Sonesta in Los Angeles for a special occasion. Do you want to know what it is? Well, then I will tell you. I got a call a couple of weeks ago, and it was from the associate producer of the show The Unexplained with William Shatner. You know that show? It's on the History Channel. And they asked me to be a talking head on there to do an interview and say some things about Baalbek. And they happened to see my Baalbek video on YouTube, and they contacted me and asked me to be on the show. So tomorrow, I'm going to go to the studio and they're going to interview me. Yeah, they're setting me up here at the Sonesta for free. They paid for my travel. They're going to pay for my meals. It's going to be great. Well, I just got back from shooting. All done. I'm back at the hotel. They sent me a lift, and they took me up to West Hollywood. I thought I was going to a studio, but it wasn't a studio. It was a house. It was a private home. Met the owner. He's just a guy who rents his house out to production studios. And, when they need to shoot, they can go to his house. That's all there is to it. This is in West Hollywood, and a lot of celebrities live around here. The owner of the house said, "Oh yeah, Leo DiCaprio, he lives right over here." But it doesn't look like, you're probably picturing like this beautiful suburb with manicured lawns or something. No, these are houses whose exteriors don't look fancy or anything like that. I guess they are a little bit bigger, but not that big. And the yards are just shrubbery, and you don't really see much. There's gates, I'm sure it's nice inside, but not where you would expect celebrities to live. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so they sat me down at a table in front of a bookcase. There's a bookcase behind me, and the producer sat on the other end of the table, and he just asked me questions, and they shot me. There was a video guy and a sound guy, and there was a production assistant, and the producer. Torrance was his name. So I, answered his questions. You can do it a few times to get a few good takes, and I think I felt pretty good about it. But I guess you'll see, won't you? The episode, in case you haven't seen it, featured several ancient wonders: the Temple of Jupiter at Baalbek, Teotihuacan, the Antikythera mechanism, the Nazca Lines, and the Golden Rock. Oh, and Stonehenge. I was interviewed about all of these, but they used me in the show only on Baalbek, the Nazca Lines, and the Golden Rock. I was there among other reputable scholars, but there were other personalities there too. Andrew Collins and Hugh Newman, both of whom are exactly the kind of people I critique on my channel. They were used a lot in the show too. You might wonder why I would ever be on that kind of a show along with those people. Well, because I don't, on principle, have anything against a show that wants to emphasize mysteries of the ancient past or our lack of knowledge about certain subjects. My only concern would be if they represented what I said accurately. If I could shed some light on the subject in the process, all the better. Now, of course, obviously, they're not going to use everything I said, and they have the right to decide what they want to use. In my interview, I gave specific information about what we know about these wonders, especially Baalbek, but they hardly used any of it. They were interested in emphasizing the unexplained, not the explained, right? There were times in the interview where I was told, Could you say that again, but end with, but we just don't know? I don't mind that they used mainly my comments about how certain things are mysteries or that we don't know how something was done. That's fine. There is a lot we don't know. And I understand that it gets edited for time. I expect that they had a longer edit originally and they had to cut it down. My comment on Strabo near the beginning was cut down so much it was not clear what I was saying exactly. That comes with the territory, I guess. Some of you have asked if my parts were edited fairly. Did they try to make me say things that I did not say? When I was talking about Baalbek, you hear me at one point say, "There's no way the Romans could have lifted one of these trilithon stones, even with one of their great cranes. So the trilithon are the remains of an earlier temple. But who the people were that established the settlement, we have no idea." Now, there it sounds like I'm saying that the Romans could not have put the trilithon there, and that the trilithon was part of an earlier temple built by an unknown people. This coincides with part of William Shatner's narrative, where he says that the foundation stones were put there by a previous civilization. But those who have seen my Baalbek videos know that I do not think that at all. My view is that the Romans built both the earlier and later temple. So, what happened here? It's true that I really said there's no way the Romans could have lifted one of these trilithon stones, even with one of their great cranes, but I went on to explain that they did not need to lift the stones to put them into place. That part was cut out. And yes, I really said, so the trilithon are the remains of an earlier temple, but I went on to explain that the earlier temple was Roman. They cut that part out. And my last line, but who the people were that established the settlement, we have no idea, was in reference to the settlement established before any of the temples, the earliest remains prior to the trilithon. But by placing that line directly after my line about the earlier temple, they made it sound like I was saying, we don't know who put the trilithon there. So, that was misleading. Whether it was done on purpose or simply happened as a result of condensing and misunderstanding, I don't know. But that was the only time they did that. I am happy they included my comments about the capstans and about why the stones were used. I like that they captured my enthusiasm for the subjects, and they used me a lot in the show, and especially in the first segment, the one on Baalbek. Interestingly, the day after it aired, I got an email from another show that would like me to appear in similar fashion. Don't worry, it's not Ancient Aliens. I can't give you any details yet because nothing is firm, but I'll let you know when I can.
You might like my little e-booklet, Why Ancient History Matters. It's designed to persuade people that the subject is important, even in the modern world. You might also wish to use it to help spread the word. So feel free to share it with someone you know. It's free for anyone who wants it. I've left a link in the description box below the video for you to grab a copy. Catch you later.